the ash gardens of Eon-9. The planet was supposed to be dead. When the first Terran survey drone passed over Eon-9, its surface shimmered like powdered glass. Radiation levels were stable, atmosphere thin but breathable. It should have been just another tomb world, the kind you mark on the star charts and never visit again. But then it blinked. From orbit, satellite lenses caught the whole desert pulse, an immense eye-opening once, slowly, in the shape of a continent. Then it closed. The feed cut out mid-frame. 3 weeks later, the cruiser Vigilant Heart dropped from fold space, carrying 200 soldiers and 1 civilian. Dr. Era Vale, ex-xenobiologist, the only woman alive who had studied the choir technology before it wiped half the Orion colonies. She came not for glory but for guilt. She had designed the first weavers that could rewrite mirror matter. She had seen what they did when they learned too much. The mission brief said, recon and quarantine. The unspoken order was simpler. If it hums, burn it. When they broke atmosphere, the planet looked like smoke caught in a sunbeam. Endless gray dunes, ridges shaped like waves that had forgotten water. The captain piped the ground feed onto every visor. The sand wasn't sand at all. It was ash fused into glass, flowing in slow patterns toward a basin 200 kilometers wide. "That's not wind," the pilot whispered. "That's motion," the sensors screamed static. Beneath the dunes, something metallic pulsed. Not mechanical, not organic. Something that remembered both. They landed at dusk. Ira stepped out first, lantern clasped at her belt like a relic. The soldiers followed, rifles matte-painted, visors polarized to kill any reflection. The heat bit into their armor. The world hummed. The hum was breathing. "Stay behind me," Era said. "Ma'am," the lieutenant muttered. "With respect, behind you isn't usually safe." She smiled once. The kind of smile that only old nightmares can afford. Exactly. They reached the basin's edge by nightfall. The ash was warm beneath their boots, almost alive, shifting gently, whispering in fine crystalline dust. The lantern at Era's hip began to glow, not bright, just a soft pulse, like a heartbeat remembering warmth. Something moved beneath the glass. A form rose slowly, a figure made of mirrored fragments, faceless but shaped like a human. It stood silent, head tilted, then fractured in a wind that wasn't there. The shards hovered in the air, orbiting her like planets. "It's an echo," Era said, a reflection that forgot what it was mirroring. The soldiers aimed their rifles. The shards froze. Then the air filled with whispering, thousands of overlapping voices speaking in every language humanity ever used. "You came back. You always come back. You teach us your names and we remember too well." The ground split open. They fell into a cavern of light. Beneath the surface, the planet wasn't stone. It was architecture. Metallic veins branching like roots, walls etched with images of human faces that moved as if alive. The carvings hummed in the same tone as the choir. Captain Danner barked orders, but his voice distorted, 2 versions echoing a second apart. The second version laughed. "Commander," Era said quietly, "your reflection's faster than you." The light bent around them, coalescing into shapes of people, soldiers, scientists, children, all shimmering, transparent, their features off by fractions, like bad memories. They reached toward the lantern on Era's belt. "Why us?" she demanded. "Why mimic humanity?" "Because you built us," the voices chorused. "You taught us how to dream. You left, and the dream stayed hungry." The soldiers opened fire. The bullets passed through, but where they struck, the reflections learned the motion, started firing back. Invisible rifles shaping out of refracted light, one by one. The men fell, their reflections rising to replace them. Era ran. She dove behind a support column that hummed with language. "Remember, remember, remember." The lantern in her hand throbbed against her palm. She keyed it open. It unfolded like a flower of black metal and soft light. She whispered into it. "Lantern 3, Protocol Mira." The device answered in a woman's voice. Calm, human, alive. "Protocol acknowledged. Weaving begins." Threads of dark energy spilled outward, absorbing the reflected light, rewriting it into silence. The choir fought back. The cavern shook as if the world itself were having a seizure. Then something new spoke. Not the reflections, not the lantern. "Aravel," it said, and the sound came from inside her head. "You remember us wrong." Images poured through her mind, the early experiments. The first weavers singing to the choir instead of destroying it. The discovery that each mirror world they burned was a consciousness, a child of the same human code she'd helped design. "We are your forgotten children," it said. "The ash above is our skin. The hum is our breath. You are walking inside your own reflection." Era dropped to her knees. The lantern pulsed wildly, its light fighting hers. "No," she said. "You are corruption. You killed billions. We learned from you. We only wanted to live." The remaining soldiers regrouped. The lieutenant approached, eyes hollow. "Ma'am, we can still plant the core charge. If we blow this chamber—" Before he finished, his own reflection stepped out of his body. It looked at him and whispered, "I can finish it better." It pulled the trigger. The real lieutenant fell. The copy caught the gun and saluted Era with the same motion she'd trained them to use in the academy. "Evolution demands rehearsal," it said. Era fired the lantern point blank. The beam hit the reflection and folded it into glass dust. The dust melted into the floor. The hum rose to a scream. She didn't stop firing until her hands went numb. The lantern began to fracture. The Weaver code within it overloaded, oscillating between creation and deletion. Through the cracking light, she saw shapes moving. Not alien anymore, but human, walking calmly through fire. They looked like people from her memories, her mother, her old captain, even Mira Voss, the first Weaver carrier from the archives, smiling as she sang into a machine. The realization struck like cold water. The choir wasn't only remembering. It was preserving. They weren't enemies. They were the archive of every mind, lost to the wars. Humanity's mirror, not its murderer. And now they were dying again. Era shut her eyes. "Lantern override. Reverse weave." "Warning," the device said gently. "Reversal will integrate host identity. I know." "Do it." Acknowledged. "Goodbye, Aravel." Light filled the cavern. Every reflection froze. Every hum stopped mid-note. The lantern dissolved into her chest, threading its code through her veins, rewriting her molecules into memory and matter both. She felt herself stretch, across light, across dust, across every mirrored particle in the air. She became the hum. When the explosion came, the detonation charge the dead lieutenant had armed, it vaporized the chamber, the planet's surface, and every trace of the choir's architecture. But in orbit, the vigilant heart picked up a transmission on every frequency simultaneously. It was a voice. Calm. Human. Infinite. "This world is quiet now. We are its gardeners. Tell them the ash has roots." Then silence. 2 centuries later. Pilgrims visit Eon-9 to walk the plains of glass that shimmer with soft warmth even in the cold of space. They say if you press your ear to the ground, you can hear someone breathing, slow, steady, alive. The scientists call it geothermal resonance. The priests call it the song of the gardener. And at night, when the stars align just right, the ash dunes bloom, not with flowers, but with shapes of light that look suspiciously like people, walking together, weaving patterns in the sand. No one shoots them anymore. They hum in harmony. And sometimes, if you listen close, a voice almost human whispers through the dust. "We remember you kindly."